Hi, welcome to my class again. Yeah, with me Andreas Yulianto with the class Cross-Cultural Understanding. And today is the 14th week for us to learn in this class. And our discussion is about fashion as an intercultural communication. If previously we talked about culture, cultural representations in music and also in film, right now we are going to learn from the fashion as an intercultural communications where culture is represented through fashion. Okay, without further ado, let us start our discussions with the first learning objectives. There are three learning objectives in this class. The first, explain the relationship between fashion, clothing, and culture. So there will be an assumptions and discussions about the relationship between fashion, clothing, and culture. The second one, describe how fashion and clothing represent someone's culture. And the third one, the last, explain the relationship between fashion, clothing, and a person's social identity. Yeah, so we are gonna relate one and another between fashion, clothing, and a person's social identity. All right, now let's continue. Fashion as a tool of communications. How and why? Why fashion? Similar to the music and also film that can be used as the representations of culture, here fashions also can be used to be the representations of culture. How? Then we are going to talk in these sessions. With the idea from the Thomas Carlyle, 1987, cited in Rahmawati, 2008. Clothes becomes emblems of the soul. Wow, it's very deep sentence. It's a deep expression. Talking about fashion and clothing, actually we are talking about something that is about ourselves. And of course, it is not surprising that in in this word, Thomas Carlyle say that emblems of the soul. Clothes is the emblems of the soul. How and why? In another word, clothing shows who we are. The way we clothes, it speaks a lot. It shows directly or indirectly who we are and what are our characteristics. Yeah. And for someone who doesn't care about their clothes, their performance, their physical appearance, they tend to be uh, they tend to wear clothes that for he or she for them only comfortable. Yeah, and they don't like something that is very complicated, complex. Yeah, they just consider clothes is only uh, what is that, to cover their body. Yeah, people with this characteristic usually they don't care about others people, about what people said about them, and they don't care about the brand, about the trend fashion, um, uh, and the things that they care is um, what is that? The comfort when uh, they do their activity wearing that clothes. All right. For people who really care of the clothes, their performance, their appearance, of course, it also represents their characteristics. Yeah, whether they are complex, where they are uh, elegant, where they are anything else. Yeah, but then the representations of culture through fashion is not only limited to the individual's characteristic, but it can also be used to represent something broader than this. That is the culture. Yeah. Now let's learn the uh, fashion as a tool of communications. As Umberto Eco in 1973, as cited in Rahmawati 2008, said, I speak through my clothes. Wow. I speak through my clothes. It is about how when we dress and it makes it is representing our word, our feelings. Yeah. Some expert might say that uh, clothes is also viewed uh, having such kind of a communicative function. Yeah, fashion, clothes, and makeup. Yeah, is viewed as a communicative artifactual. What is artifactual? This means that artifactual communications is communications that takes place through clothing and the arrangement of various artifacts such as makeup, accessories, clothing, jewelry, home furniture, home decoration, so on. Those are the representations of the culture. Whether we prefer or we like to wear a lot of accessories, um, beautiful clothing, fancy jewelry, and many things. That represents our habit, our characteristics, and even our culture. Yeah. However, fashions also deliver the messages non-verbally, and it is categorized as the non-verbal communication. How? Uh, we'll discuss this in these sessions also. About the non-verbal communications, we better to look at this idea first. The clothes we wear have several functions. They are to protect from various weathers, to protect when playing sports so that injuries do not occur, to hide certain parts of our bodies. Yeah, this is the function, general functions of the clothes. Yeah, but then in terms of the non-verbal communication, yeah, our clothes that we wear, yeah, has several functions. It's not only to protect from our from various weathers, but also to show certain feeling, certain situations, certain class. Yeah, so that's we. Uh, why is that? It can give more meaning toward our speaking, our verbal communications. Yeah. Now let us learn from the examples. This is example is the writings or pictures that are commonly written on our t-shirt or our shirt. Yeah, it could be that when you choose a certain t-shirt with a certain text or image, you will definitely like the text or image, or at least represent who you are. Someone who likes traveling will most likely be interested in choosing a t-shirt with image of the world icon, such as the Eiffel Tower, Borobudur Temple, the mountain, the Taj Mahal, or other kinds of buildings or historical or view, tourism, or so on and so forth. Right. Even it is for some people, they don't care about what kind of text or pictures on their shirt or t-shirt, but some considers that this is important, and this is the representations of their feeling about their soul. Yeah, it is clear from these examples that for those uh, who like who likely be interested in traveling. For example, in those pictures, it contains some important um, places, some important monuments, buildings that is drawn there as what is that, as the art on their t-shirt. For those who prefer or who like the sports, for example, yeah, it's also different. The the things, the pictures on their clothes might be different from the other people who like other things. Yeah, even the colors, it represents a lot of things. Yeah, the color choice, some people might prefer, okay, Tuesday I will wear this, Wednesday I will wear this color, and Friday I will wear other things. It's because these people consider a lot about their fashion. It has to be matched with the hope, the desire on that days. Yeah. Next. Now, for examples, the fans of particular band or singer can usually be seen in their character and expressions on the t-shirts with the image of the idol stars they wear. Usually, you'll be able to see this sort of thing at a concert location, an album release location, the premiere of a certain film, and the launch of a new book by a famous author. Right. Me myself, I often experience these situations. In Indonesia, for example, when we are heading to the, let's say, president elections in a certain democratic activities, yeah, some parties, they also sell or they distribute clothes which is written their party, the name of their party, the name of their organization, even the pictures of the candidates of the president. Yeah, and for those who are follower who like this candidate, they will wear these clothes, their t-shirts. Yeah, it shows that it is a part of respecting or even admiring this figure, or even marketing, yeah, campaign, yeah, something like this. And in this case, the fans of particular band or singer, for example, yeah, you can see these pictures. on this girl's clothes t-shirt, there is a pictures of a guy here who is maybe a band or a singer, because she is the crazy fans of this band or this guy, for example. It's commonly happen. And even with myself, I have my favorite singer. What about you? Now the question is, do you have a t-shirt which contains your favorite picture? Yeah, probably people who consider this a lot as important things, they also keep or they have this t-shirts probably. Yeah, and also mostly you can find this. Let's say if you like the singer, yeah, you can find these people who wear this kind of t-shirts in the concert location, in the album release, in a yeah, or even like if you like a certain movie and characters or actors in that movie in the premiere of a certain film or launching of the film, then yeah, people will wear those t-shirts which containing the pictures of some actors there, or even the new book by a famous actor. Yeah, probably the pictures of the book or the pictures of the author. Next is, a person can easily send a certain message about their character through fashion items, including the clothes they wear. Yeah, the message in your feeling, in your heart, the situation, whether good, positive, or negative, it can be also shown, it can be presented through the clothes that you wear. In accordance with the opinion of Malcolm Bernard, that clothes are chosen based on according to what will be done on that day. Yeah, on that day, on what extents they will attend, how someone's mood at that time, who they will meet, and so on, right? All of these choices further emphasize that fashion and clothing are used to send message about one's self to others. Now, is it clear? Absolutely yes, it is clear. Then it is true that true fashion, it speaks a lot, much more than what mouth can say. It can be like people will wear based on what will be done in that day. For example, in Indonesia, we have a habit or we have a culture for school students. Every Monday, they will have a raising flag ceremony to remember the Independence Day. Yeah, and what the school's regulations, all students have to wear for the high school gray skirts and also white shirt, and they wear the tie and also hat, black shoes and white sock. And it is commonly happen, and it's common in Indonesia, but in other countries maybe it's different. Yeah, and also the choosing fashion, it also because of what extent will they attend. Of course, the clothes worn for a party will be different from a clothes for a meeting, yeah, for a formal meeting, let's say. Of course, it is different. It depends on the need, on the special event that we are attending, yeah. And also, it is because how someone's mood at that time. Let's say because of the situation is very hot, so it's better to wear the t-shirt only, yeah. And if the day is raining or snowing and it's very cool, of course we will wear a jumper, jacket, sweater, or so on. Yeah, and it depends on who they will meet. They will meet their girl or boyfriend, parents, boss, manager, or customer. Yeah, so it's different. All of these choices emphasize that fashion and clothing are used to send messages about oneself to others. Respecting, loving, so on and so forth. Those messages can be represented through the fashions. Someone who likes the latest fashion trends will usually tend to choose clothing models such as skirts or jeans with the more stylish models, but still match their character. For example, look at this girl. She's typical girl with a girly character. She will tend to choose a cute skirt or a pink top with a beautiful floral motif combined with high heels and so on. And for other girls, I think it is disgusting or even I think it is weird if they don't like this kind of fashion. So of course, it is because it's not only about the preference, but it is about uh, the feeling. She feels comfortable, she feels enjoyed, and she feels that it represents her feeling about that day, about that event that she is going to attend. So she prefers to wear this with a lot of considerations, of course. Yeah. And other people might have different preference, might have different uh, fashion style, fashion trend. Yeah. Malcolm Barner, 2009, also stated that people make inferences about who they are in part by what they wear. Other people's view at least represent your social class. How? Social class. What is the relations with the social class? Of course, social class cannot be avoided. It is there around us. It is it is the result of marginalized social categorization, and even we do not have intention. We unintentionally categorize people because of their social class, or even they group people based on what clothes they wear. For example, for those who are high class and for who are lower class, the style, the fashion represents or show the meaning, the message a lot, even without speaking. But the clothes that they wear speaks a lot. The high class people will wear fancy jewelry, accessories, beautiful and expensive dress, and yeah, many things. And the opposite, for those who are in the lower class, they wear the t-shirt, for example, only casual or even dirty clothes, and they don't have that kind of accessories or even fancy jewelry, right? It shows everything. It speaks a lot than our mouth, yeah. And also, it represents our attitude, whether liberal or conservative, yeah. Which one are you? The liberal one or conservative one? People who prefer to wear the shorts, the skirt and tank top to go everywhere, or you are as a part of the people who wear very covered clothes, which covering the whole body to avoid something, to avoid the part of your body opened, yeah, all these things. Or even some of people prefer to wear the traditional uh, dress, traditional clothes, something like that. And it also represents your seriousness or casualness. Oh, why? How? Of course, if you are attending a meeting in your company and you will meet your boss or client or business partner, are you going to wear casual clothes? No, right? It shows your seriousness. If you wear casual clothes, you do not appreciate. You are not serious with the meeting. And can it be a conflict? Of course, yes. It can be a problematic. Yeah. And sometimes it is also weird when in a casual setting we wear something serious, something formal clothes too. So that's why uh, the clothes, the fashions, the dress you wear really depends on the setting. Yeah, and even your political affiliations. As I told you earlier, the party you belong to, the party you support, the figure you like, the figure you admire in a political or democratic situations, the president elections, government elections, and so on and so on. Or even your glamour. Your glamour, you prefer to wear uh, expensive clothes, expensive jewelry. Yeah, it depends on you. And it depends also on the sense of style. Yeah. So there are many people, yeah, who have this sense of style. Because okay, so this year the style is wearing this particular clothes, then we follow it. And next year is different again. And maybe it depends on the creativity in the way we dress. Fashions also is about the creativity. Sometimes we want to show our uniqueness. So we want to show our image. We want to show who we are through our fashion. Sometimes it's about the famous public figure, actor, artist, so on and so forth. Yeah, so they can influence other people. Fashion as a tool of a communications. Malcolm Bernard, 2009, as cited in Ramawati 2008. People make inferences about who they are in part by what they wear. When you wear a Rolex watch, people may acknowledge you as a rich person with a sense of elegance. When you feel proud when you wear an alma mater jacket that express your character as a part of a particular college. Yeah, an engagement ring or wedding ring is an example of jewelry that communicates a person's identity. So you are a married man. she is a married girl, yeah, because she wears the uh, ring. So it shows the identity. Someone who wears tattoos or piercings on the lips or ears communicates that she or he is part of certain group or is conveying a message about his or her identity and character. I experienced these situations where I met my friends from another island in Indonesia. His body is full of tattoos. And for some people who don't like tattoos, they will consider that this is impolite, or even they will feel this negatively. They will think that, oh, this guy doesn't appreciate their body or his body. Yeah, but for somebody who likes this tattoo, okay, this is an art. Yeah, this is a creativity. This is an imagination that is presented through the tattoo. Yeah. So that is true that people make inference about who they are by what they wear. Basically, fashion style is a clear status indicator. How can? Now look at this one. In Indonesia, especially in the Muslim world, in a Muslim country, clothes and fashions can reflect the identity and religiosity of the wearer. Yeah. Welcome banner again also say that Muslim clothing can have a certain meanings. For example, as a symbol of ethnic and political content. In Malaysia, for example, Muslim clothing is used to differentiate between Malays and Malaysians of Indian descent or Malaysians of Chinese descent. Even the Muslim itself, once I went to India and I met a Muslim from Yemen, Afghanistan, and India, and also Muslim from Indonesia itself. They wear differently their hijab, the things that covering their heads, the style, the way they wear, the color is also different, and of course it shows their identity and religiosity. Yeah, and sometimes in some places where it restrict to the Muslim environment, Muslim situations, context, it is very easy to differentiate the people who are Muslim and who are not. For those who are Muslim, they wear hijab, they wear long dress, and for those who are not Muslim, it's easy for us to identify. They don't wear hijab, they wear sexy clothes, for example, so on and so forth. So this becomes the indicator. It is a clear status indicator. Fashion style is a status of indicator to identify and to acknowledge the identity of somebody. Muslim clothing can also be displayed as a symbol of resistance to certain regimes, as happened in France and several countries on the European continent, where Muslim clothing is prohibited from being used in the public spaces, including all forms of symbols that have symbolized certain religions, such as rosary necklaces, and so on. In this case, the meaning of Muslim clothes always depends on the context. Sometimes it is also difficult to judge or to identify the whether they are Muslim or they are in what identity they are. Yeah. In some countries, regulations right now are strict to the uh, religious, and some countries also prohibit people uh, to do their practices, to show to the publics their identity. Yeah. Because there are many reasons actually, like they hold the pluralisms, they appreciate all the practices, religious practices. So that's why we should have very open mindset about this diversity. So that's there is no someone who is really strict and yeah, strict to their identity on, because what it will create the judgment, misjudgment, stereotyping, and discriminations. So fashion can result positively and negatively. Yeah. Hobbies are one of the ways people communicate themselves to others, right? And for example, someone who has a hobby of collecting various fashion items from bags, shoes, sandals, jewelry, such as necklace, bracelets, rings, anklets, earrings, watches, hats, belts, and various other accessories to support appearance, then it can be said that he or she is a type of person who is very attentive and cares about his or her appearance. There is something unique about hobbies. Are you also have? Do you also have hobby to collect all these things? Yeah. For me, I like collecting watches. My friends, they like clothes. My wife um, prefer to collect shoes and so on. Yeah, and it shows, it communicate ourselves to others, who we are. Yeah, do we really care about our fashion or not? So of course, it contributes a lot to give to emphasize the meaning about something about ourselves. The theme and color of makeup worn by a person can also reflect his or her personality. Why? To make it clear, now let's see these examples. Someone who doesn't really like to dress up and only uses light powder and lipstick. However, she goes is usually a natural and hassle-free person. The important thing for her is only comfort. Yeah, a typical person like celebrity Paris Hilton, for example, can already be determined that she tries to imitate herself like a princess by wearing all kind of beautiful, glamorous, luxurious, and expensive fashion accessories. With the fashion style she wears, she seems to want to talk to the world that her taste is upper class taste, and the character she displays is a luxurious character. What about you? What about people around you? Have you ever experienced to meet all these people, the people like this? Yeah, some people might don't they don't agree about their fashions, but some were really strict to take care, to consider about their fashion. And yeah, the theme, the color of makeup can represent, can reflect our personality. Are we glamour? Are we natural or so? Or what? Answers. You may have answered to yourself. Second, fashion as culture. How can fashion as a culture? Previously, we thought that fashions as a communication. Right now, fashions as a culture. Does it relate? Is there any relationship? Now let's discuss this. Malcolm Bernard, 2009. Apart from being a medium of communications, fashion can also be categorized as a part of the culture. How? Malcolm Bernard stated fashion and clothing as a cultural phenomenon. Thus, argued that clothing made a statement. This section looks at different cultural concepts so that it can be stated the types of cultural phenomena or fashions and clothing. Wow. Culture functions as a communication as also a part of the culture. What kind of culture can be represented? Let's talk fashion as a culture by the Raymond Williams. Yeah, in his book, Raymond Williams, 1983, as cited in Irawan Toby, 2008, stated culture is one of the two or three very complicated words uh, in the English language. Wow, how can? Yeah, what are the two or three complicated words? He then distinguished the meaning of the three words and the following. The first is cultured people. It refers to the people with developed minds. In other words, people who have an open mindset and are willing to accept change are people who are considered culture. So it refers to the people with developed minds. In other words, people who have an open mindset. So that are we a people who have an open mindset, who are willing to accept the diversity, to accept the changes, to accept other people who are different from us? Even it is difficult to interpret, but mostly cultured people is shown as this, where we are able or ready to accept and have an open mindset, yeah, about this world. Second one is culture. Culture itself is difficult to interpret. Culture has the meaning of cultural activities or interests, which means that everything that is the result of human creations can be called culture. But it's not only about the activities, about the hobbies. It's not only about the interest. It's more than that, and it is difficult to interpret. And you yourself can have your own identity, your own definitions about the culture. It can be an activities, it can be an interest, and everyone has their own interest. Everyone in the world has their own activities. So which one is called culture? Difficult, right? Don't bother with that. Everything you create, everything you like, everything you do, everything you behave, it is also part of the cultures. The third one, it's an art and intellectual works. It refers to the means of processes, which in this context means art and intellectual works. How can culture is an art and it is an intellectual works? In the earlier section, we discussed about the art in the form of writing, in the form of clothing, in the form of uh, fashion, yeah, and it is an art where people has different tastes on art. The for example, the tattoo on our bodies. Some people might say that this is art. Some people know, and it is also a culture is also intellectual works. In previous discussions, in the previous chapter, we talk about fashion, we talk about music and also film, where it is created based on the creative imagination. And do you think that the director of the film or the creator of the music is not intellectual? Of course, they are intellectual. And all what they have done, what they have created, what they have produced is the intellectual works. Yeah, humans make a work of art, and intellectual works of a core, of course, have a specific purpose for their common good. All right. In the context of fashion as a culture, fashion is defined as something that is experienced, explored, and communicated, as well as produced by social order. So fashion is experienced, fashion is explored, fashion is communicated, and fashion is reproduced. Yeah. Furthermore, Desmond Morris in Man watching a field guide to human behavior. Clothing plays a role as a cultural display because it communicates our cultural affiliation. In Indonesia, we have so many traditional clothes, so many different languages, so many cultures. In a region itself, there consists more than two or three cultures or tradition or um, traditional clothes, yeah, where it represents many things. It represents their cultures. We'll discuss this later, next, after this. And through that culture, this fashions display cultural identities and cultural affiliation. Look at this one as the examples of this culture in represented through the fashion. You will not find it difficult to identify a person's country or region based on the clothes they wear. It is very visible. It is visible, yeah. From their clothes, you can see where they are from. If you see a man wearing a black, red, checkered skirt and long socks, then you will recognize that the man is wearing Scottish clothing. Or for example, during the independence ceremony on August 17th, independence ceremony in Indonesia, yeah, there were several people wearing traditional clothes from their respective regions or origin. Papua, Kalimantan, Sulawesi, Bali, Central Java, and so on. These are the islands in Indonesia, and they have different clothes. And it's easy for you, for everybody to see these differences when on the August 17th. Yeah, every year we celebrate this Independence Day, and people wear different clothes based on their region. Yeah. All typical clothes or traditional clothes have their own characteristic and are considered to represent the character of the people of a particular country or region. Now look at the pictures. In these pictures, it is the one of the traditional wedding dress in Indonesia. Yeah, Indonesia has a variety of traditional wedding dress where the models, patterns, materials, and accessories vary from one region to another. On the islands of Java, yeah, there are various kinds of traditional wedding dresses, ranging from the West Java, East Java, Central Java, and Yogyakarta breeds. And here is the sample. It is from Java, but it is mostly in Java, Central Java, or Yogyakarta. Even in East or West will be different. Yeah, the accessories also different. And yeah, this typical clothes has their has its characteristic, and of course it represents the character of the people. If you wear this for marriage, for your wedding, then of course it is suitable. But then if you wear this for any other events, then it will be weird, right? Yeah, so it represents the character of the people and also the character of the special event. In Indonesia, also has a distinctive clothing identity in the form of batik. Batik is a traditional clothing in Indonesia. The variety of batik patterns and motifs is also very diverse. Yeah, even the same from Indonesia, but the motifs, the patterns are different depending on the area where the batik comes from. There are various types of batiks, such as Pekalongan batik, Madura batik, Solo batik, Papuan batik, Magetan batik, Kawung batik, so on. And you know that each region has its own style and motif that is adapted to what is typical and unique in the area. What about in your country? What about in your region? Do you have different clothes for certain events, for uh, special things? Yeah, and are they different from your friends or even from people who are from different region? Nah, you may observe in your situation, in your environment. Now look at this one. For example, the typical Solo batik. Oh, this is from Solo. Yeah, Solo is also from Central Java in Indonesia, which has round or floral patterns, and the motifs tend to be a diagonal and strips. Yeah, because the background of the Solo community is thick with the traditions of the palace. Yeah. So look at this. It is it is different from batik from other places. Now look at the other place. The second one is the batik from Kawung. Batik Kawung. It is also one area in Indonesia. The oldest type of batik in the world is, oh, this is the oldest one, Batik Kawung, which the motif is an illustrations of the kawung fruits or palm fruits. Yeah, this type of kawung batik has a lot of enthusiasts ranging from the young to the old. So even now, there are still quite a lot of devotees, even though there are many other types of batik, yeah, that keep popping up. So the previous one and the second one is already different, right? The color, the motif, the pattern, yeah, they are different. Different place, different pattern, different motif, but the name is still the same, batik. Yeah. So you can find easily in Indonesia, where you want to go to Jakarta, to Bali, to other places, you'll have different motif of batik. Next is uh, oh, this is the batik, the other batik from what is this? Madura batik. Yeah. Another type of batik that is quite distinctive and popular is the type of Madura batik, which is dominated by colors. Look at how many colors are there. 1, 2, 3. It's more than 10, I think. 10 colors. And it shows the uniqueness and the distinctive from other batik. And it tends to be striking, yeah, such as red, orange, green, or bright blue. And this is adapted to the character of the Madura themselves, who like bright color. Madura is from East Java, yeah, where you go to East Java in Madura, then you'll find batiks with colorful models, and the motif is also like this probably, and maybe they have a lot of motifs too, but they play with the colors. And it is said that it is similar, or it is adapted to the character of the Madura people itself, yeah, who like the bright colors. Now, next is the Sidomukti Magetan batik, which has a calm pattern with the basic motif of an image of a bamboo tree, yeah, because the main commodity of this area is bamboo. Oh, it represents what the commodity in that area too. So if somebody maybe like in the Papua or in other places, their commodity is the let's say pigeon or other birds, then they can also include the patterns of kind of birds on their batik too. Or like this, the same, like similar to this bamboo tree as their commodity. So they have this historical things, historical background, yeah, why they create this motif. So by highlighting the characteristics of the area, it is hoped that certain types of batik patterns and motifs can be easily distinguished from other types of batik patterns and motifs. Yeah, it is the way to distinguish from the other types, from one type to other types, from one area to other area. But then it's not only about that, but it also represents the cultures, represents the soul, the self itself, the commodity, the area, the characteristic of people there. And what for? Of course, it can also be used to promote the area, the uh, the commodity there, like this one. If it is famous, if it is a market, promote to people all over the world, then they will curious about this. What is that? This pattern, this motif, this cloth. Then they can come to that place to find this one. Yeah, or even they can order online. The Sido Mukti Bagetan. Fashion and culture, with such a variety of pattern and motif of batik from various regions in Indonesia, it is not surprising that later batik was designated by the UNESCO as one of the world's cultural heritage fabrics. Now, batik with many colors, patterns, and motifs has been known not only in Indonesia but to all corners of the world. Yeah. I have talked a lot about Indonesian culture, Indonesian fashions. I think you may find in your area where you can find the styles, the fashions, the traditional clothes, or the clothing, modern clothing that exists in your environment. Then I think it is better and it is wise to discuss this all and you find the difference between yours in your situations and the people or your friends around you. Probably you might have different preference about the clothes, the colors, the motif of the dress, the style, so on and so forth. And yeah, that represents, that communicates your soul, that communicates your feeling, yeah, about uh, but the situations around you. Now, batik is one of the pride of for Indonesia. Yeah, let's get back to the batik because it has become a national cloth icon that has been recognized for its beauty and originality by the international community. If batik has been recognized as the national cloth and part of Indonesia's national identity, then there are also dozens of other types of traditional fabric that are widespread in various regions in Indonesia. One of them is ulos and woven fabrics, whose beautiful patterns and motifs cannot be doubted. The clothes, such as batik, it represents and it shows the identity of the user or the wearer. If I am wearing batik, so I'm showing you that my identity is Indonesian. If I'm wearing Madura batik, then actually I'm showing you that I'm a part of Madura people. I am Maduranese, or even I'm Javanese or Papuanese. People who wear kimono, it shows that their identities, that they are Japanese. People who wear other clothes, it shows their nation, their countries, their environment. Yeah. So is that true that fashion represents the culture? Absolutely yes. Fashion is a part of a culture where fashion can also be considered as a medium of communications. In this case, it is included in the category of nonverbal communication. So fashion is a nonverbal communication. It's not only face expression, the nodding, the eye contact, the smiling. No, but then it's also your clothes, your watch, your accessories, your shoes, your makeup. It talks a lot more than your mouth. And it tells us, it speaks something that cannot be uttered, that cannot be spoken by our mouth. Fashion and clothing can be used to convey nonverbal communications messages because they do not use spoken words or words. No, but we can still understand others by seeing their fashion, their clothes, their makeup, their accessories. We can see their identity through the things they wear. So it is very important. Fashion conveys an indirect message about who one is, what one's character is, and consciously or unconsciously, a person's fashion choice are much influenced by how he or she dresses and wears certain items in his or her daily life. I think it's clear fashion conveys a message, either indirectly or directly, about who one is, about one's character is. Project. Now, please read this one. Go somewhere, for example, to shopping center or to tourist spot, to campus, to school, blah, blah, and so on and so forth. And try. You will find a lot of people who wear different uh, clothes. Please make a short essay that tells about the results of your observations. Yeah, the theme is free. Link all your findings with the theory and the explanation that has been explained before. Yeah. Thank you so much. I think that's it about today. will be meeting in the next sessions with the other topics, and we are heading to the last meeting for our course. Today is the 14th and tomorrow is the 15th, and in the 16th you will have the final exam, final test, where it is already provided, and you may also consider and learn from these sessions. Thank you so much, and bye bye.